the Otaku Crew. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are now on episode 50, and today's topic is going to be a good one for our audience out there. But before that, I want to remind everybody that most of our episodes are on most podcast platforms, so Anchor, Spotify, and you can find most of our episodes also on YouTube. So if you do happen to catch us on YouTube, please make sure to like and comment also, and please share our videos if you like the content we provide to you. So for our panelists today, we have Tensa, Leifan, and we have a new panelist, Prez, joining us for today's show. What's up, guys?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I'm here.
Thank you for joining us. We appreciate taking the time out today to do an anime podcast with us.
Well, it's a different experience to be able to join. Limited in knowledge on anime, but I feel like there's a few interesting decisions I could have that most would not really consider.
Well, we welcome all thoughts and different opinions, of course. So, guys, today's topic is which anime character would we like to see get a spin-off? So you could pick any anime characters from any anime series or even manga if you want, and you guys can discuss and debate why this character should get its own spin-off series. So, who would like to start?
Wait, wise man, just to confirm this, I don't want listeners getting confused. Even though we are very thoroughly saying this is the topic, this is not like a season 2 of an anime or continuation of an anime of that particular season. It's just which character we think should get a spin-off, right?
Yeah, which character should get a spin-off and be like the main focus of the series, if that helps.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
Kind of like the Yamcha spin-off series on Dragon Ball. Got it.
Best series, what do you mean?
If you think Yamcha could get his own spin-off show, by all means, go ahead. You can debate that too.
No, he already does.
You serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
but not as an anime, but as like a spin-off manga. But you get my
Yeah. That's it. So, well, anyway, for us in this topic, we're gonna pretty much say like which one should get a spin-off, like an anime spin-off. In series, I would probably prefer. But you could take a character from any manga and then say that he should get his own show, even though it's like a side character. I think. Who would like to start off?
You know what? I think I'll start off. So
Do it, Prez. Do
Take it
it.
away, Prez.
yeah, I'm gonna start us off just because I've been thinking about it for some time now.
By the way, Prez, make sure
Yeah.
you give a backstory on this anime character, from which anime it comes from, and then say
Yeah.
why spin-off.
Okay. Well, for starters, I already know my character already got a spin-off. Well, a spin-off, so to speak, but I would have liked to seen something in a bit more of a different light, because while it was entertaining, I feel like the original adaptation where they came from wasn't really something that really stuck with me. It wasn't really for my tastes. And the anime that I was talking about was Overlord, which with the main character Ains, Ulgun. I'm pretty sure some people are familiar with it, but if
Good
they're
shit.
not,
Good shit.
it's
Arma manga, if you will.
essentially a large, imposing skeleton, your usual isekai character that comes in. They were a character in a video game. Now they're in said game, and they're just putzing around with their entire fan base demons realm that they had while it's all their NPCs and allies that were in the game are now with them, and he's just kind of controlling them while all the other characters are nowhere to be seen that were originally playing the game. You see the character go through many different phases. It started off pretty docile in the beginning, but then I noticed a lot that they were really pushing the main character to be the main villain, so to speak, of the show, which I get why they were pushing that, but for me, it never really stuck. I feel like the character was just overly, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of
Submissive.
What did he say?
not submissive. No, definitely not. Bit depressing.
I
Almost.
meant like passive, but yes.
More depressing to the point where like you just see all these interesting it was when I first started watching the show and I finished season 1 and then I got into season 2 after realizing, okay, season 1 was fine, let me go into season 2 and try it. After season 2 I realized this is just almost Walking Dead the anime. here's a bunch of characters that they're going to
Oh,
introduce, and then they're just going to kill off 2 to 3 episodes later because, well,
why not?
we're going to kill them off because that's what the bad guy would do. And since the main character is the bad guy, it makes sense. We're gonna have
Yeah.
everyone's gonna experience tragedy for the sakes of just being tragic. And it just didn't jive with me, and I kind of stopped after season 2, and it just wasn't it wasn't hitting it for me anymore. But then they did give him the spin-off, a good spin-off, which was Isekai Quartet that a lot of people were familiar with.
Oh,
And where they
right.
take all the different
Isekai anime.
characters from all over. I think Shield Hero is there. Those
Tanya the Evil's there.
I'll be honest, I only know I think like 2 of them. There was one where there's those.
Think about the Hitler-looking girl. That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, okay, I don't know that character at all. There's those 2 twins. One's pink, one's blue. There's those. There's that one show which is just a mockery of the fantasy trope, and it's escaping my head right now. I know the character
ReZero.
name. Huh? No. It's the
Subaru
other
from
one.
ReZero. No?
No, it's the other one. There. I do remember.
Konosuba.
Yes. That one.
Kazuma.
Those guys
It's
are,
Kazuma,
and they're all in
yeah.
the high school classroom setting, and I really found it was really enjoyable to watch. It was funny, and I really liked that. But as I was watching that and comparing it to, the characters that were being used here, ironically, were being used just as well, if not even better, than in their actual show. Which was almost kind of funny because, like, when I look back at Overlord, everyone was just kind of depressing. The main character was, I am strong, everyone is afraid of me, and that's it. No one had really any other characters to go off of other than, the handful of interactions that that they would allow the main character to have with other, characters that weren't his from his faction.
Servants, essentially, but yeah.
Yeah, so you just there was a lot of it felt a lot of disconnect between the characters and the main character, which I can't see that really working, and that's why one of the reasons it really cut off for me, because they'll interact maybe 1, 2 scenes, and then poof, they're gone. We've killed them off because we need tragedy, just for the sake of tragedy. Like I said, they always go back to that. And it just kind of ruined it. So I was always thinking, what could they have done to give this main character more impact, more feeling? Because at this point, he doesn't feel anything. He just feels like he's there just to be the villain, and he's not even a good villain, even though he's the main character.
So you're
I
saying that
see what you're saying.
Yeah, so
but he's
you're saying this character, it's Ains, right, from Overlord. He has
Yeah.
already a
Ainz.
spin-off. Ains.
Yeah.
How long did the spin-off go for?
I think it's still going now. It should
Okay,
be
so
still
still
going
ongoing.
now. I could probably even check how long it's been going for.
So then so you want to see something more from him, more emotion, more like development from him? Is that what
I
I'm
want to
getting?
see. Okay, it's 3 seasons it's going for now, which is pretty good. I just wanted to see, like, if they made it less joking, the Isekai Quartet, rather than just put him in just that, put him in his own show where he could lead a more substantial impact. Because all he does is he's just kind of, they just present him as some guy that shows up, screws up
And-
everything for whoever he has to fight with, and then everyone's just like, okay, well, you're in charge now.
So in this spin-off, he's not the main lead from what you're saying.
He's not a main lead. It's all the main leads are together. I would have liked to see him develop more in the show where he feels he has impact. It's more, okay, the original show feels more like a show where the main character is the side character. And you look at all these other people that have to deal with this new villain, i.e. the main character. And all these other main characters are very interesting. But the problem is that the whole thing that what they're doing is that the main character, these side characters that are the sort of pushing point, get killed off, or they do some random crap that completely screws up their character to the point where it's like it doesn't even make sense anymore.
It's also that part of it is that you stopped at 2 seasons, so I understand.
I stopped
But
after
if
two
you
seasons
go,
watching fully, and into season 3, I was kind of watching
oh,
snippets here and there, just kind of
that's
continue
not.
following.
I was gonna go ballsy further actually.
Oh, okay.
In the novels,
Oh, okay.
they made it painfully clear why.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
because they're still in a game, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And you start understanding the levels of them as bosses versus the levels of the interesting characters as humans,
yeah.
and it's just unfair.
Yeah, I totally understood that. I totally understood that this was like a premise where it was basically how someone who almost like plays a game would view NPCs in a standard game, where all these other characters
Yes,
around them aren't really as important. And I totally get that.
and he's the NPC, which is weird.
Yeah, and which has always been disappointing for me because a lot of the characters they did introduce were always very interesting, and I've always liked the fantasy tropes, and I like characters that they introduce that have unique aspects to them and all that. But like the game, like obviously for other people it's gonna fit, but for me, when I wanted to
It,
get into it because I did like the fact that he was a skeleton. You know, I like the undead. Necromancy is cool. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Skull serpents.
I've watched all those. You know, anything that had an undead lead, I watched because I just liked the concept of a skeleton or an undead. But this one just
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
jive for me. It didn't like it just felt like, oh, I'm going to
Flat.
be an emotion. Like they didn't even introduce him as a character who was dealing with the fact that he was in a new world. He was introduced as a character that lost
Was
his
about
own human personality and just kind of went about wrecking havoc wherever he pleased, which had a lot of
which
which had disconnect. Like a lot of people watch these isekai shows because it allows them to connect to the main character and feel like they could do what this individual could be doing. In this case, it's the exact opposite. They're
yeah,
deliberately disconnecting this individual from any sort of humanity almost by having him
that's
like
kind of the
just
point.
yeah, and I
That's
get
actually the
that.
point of the series.
I know, and I
Mm.
get that. I totally understand that, and I like the aspect that they made. Like like that would have made a great villain on a whole if they weren't the centerpiece of the show. That's in my
I,
mind.
I think I think that your main complaint is that the interesting characters they literally die too fast before you can actually connect to them, instead of actually making, let's say, proper arcs with those characters. Because if they were very interesting, what could have been done is to have an arc where the interesting character tries to build up to that point, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
Obviously, they don't have to live. It could still end in tragedy,
yeah.
but the build up would have made it more worth it.
They took the time to make characters with backstory and all this stuff, and then killed them off. And I understand, like some characters, you learn backstory through it. Like in the very first season, you had that first party that he meets, and there was that
Yep.
crazy chick with the daggers who kills them off.
That's rough, buddy.
And then there
Yep.
was one of them that specifically had a relative that eventually went and joined his little maid service thing or whatever. And I'm
Yep.
not I'm familiar with all their names, but I remember that, and I felt like when you see that, like it didn't have impact. You meet this character for 1 or 2 episodes barely. They die from unknown assailant that then dies a couple episodes after that, and then
Yeah, they become
and
just
then they just
numbers at that point.
introduce this new sister that they mentioned once just to say, oh, he's there, and then this person gets no screen time either because all they
Wait,
want to focus on is those main 7 people, those main 7
yep,
bosses that are always screwing shit up.
that's kind of the point. The point is that they're
Yeah,
trying too hard to do boss POV,
yeah,
and I've seen series that does boss POV well,
yeah,
but that's the point. They're always gonna focus on the bosses,
yeah,
and the heroic characters is literally, to me, that's just another Tuesday.
yeah. I mean,
And
yeah. And I get that. But like so far there's only like 2 characters, well, 3 technically. There was those 2 kids from like the very very first episodes that are still kind of around doing stuff. I think I don't remember. And then there was that one blonde guy who was like was like one of the princess's guards who had a
Yep.
kind of substantial arc. That was like the only good one. He had a substantial arc. Then his princess was a psychopath, and now he's in a coma.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
Now he's in a coma because she sold his ass out. Which I like I like that character
That's
development.
funny.
Oh my.
That was
Yeah.
interesting. But that was the only thing, because they took the time to build that up. 3 seasons they took to build that up. So I like that. I found it interesting. I don't like that they're making a bunch of interesting characters that are just throwaway characters for 2-3 episodes. Like if you're
Basically,
gonna
like
introduce,
Evil Eye.
if you want to introduce some characters, introduce them with the extent that you know they're gonna be throwaways.
Yeah, just don't give them a face
Alright.
or anything. Don't make them
Because
interesting.
because at this point, you're saying that they're overbuilding the character to just waste it in 10 seconds.
Yeah, and I've always hated that. As someone who likes to write characters as every once in a while and do stuff like that, I like to build up. I like to know my stories. At this point, I'm getting they're just kind of dangling a story in front of me, and then they're just snatching it away,
And then they're just taking it away.
and then just bugs the hell out of me. It's obviously that's my own personal thing, but like obviously for other people it's probably great, but for me it just
Prez,
doesn't.
I see. So yeah, you took quite a bit of time explaining why. Yeah,
Sorry about that.
no problem.
Now you
I
got
love the
really
passion,
into
man.
it.
I love the passion for
welcoming
this.
this. I am welcoming this.
Yeah,
So,
no.
So yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna end on a concluding note. Me personally, I felt like if if they introduced the character as a main character almost syndrome that is like being the also the focal point as the villain, I would have also liked to seen an exact opposite where there's an equal interesting storyline happening with like this other party that is supposed to also try to stop him. But the problem is these never get enough screen time. I would have liked the two contradicting aspects, kind of like with Goblin Slayer did slightly later on, where you had the main character and then obviously the big hero party that obviously is always around saving the world. They kind of juxtaposed each other.
Which would have made it more interesting because with that you would have seen both sides, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would have loved that to see that development of how each are kind of dealing with each other rather than just super powerful being a bunch of heroes that are gonna not even make it 2 episodes.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I love the passion from you, and you got pretty much into depth on why Ainz and Overlord should have so much more character development, more storylines, and just focus on him and flesh him out as a better character for your series. I like that, man. Let's hear from the other panelists. So Tensa, Leifan, who do you guys have in mind that you would like to see a spin-off series from?
Tensa, you mind if I go?
Go ahead, actually.
All
The
right,
floor is yours.
We'll say best for last. So, while I don't think it's gonna be as hotly passioned as Prez was going for, but this particular anime is in my top 5. And if you guys know me, I'm very picky with my anime. Like throughout the series of all of our podcasts, I often say I don't like this, I don't like this. This is cookie cutter. This is so overused. Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, you're using your anime degree.
I don't even like anime, bro. Don't worry. I don't even like it.
No, he's using his anime degree into full extent. He's like, okay,
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, Schizo.
analyze this and that, and
At least neither of you
critique
actually
it and
trashes
everything.
them as hard as I do.
I know. But this particular one is something dear to my heart because it doesn't play on those typical tropes, and this is why. The name of the anime is Bakuman, not Bakugan, Bakuman. And the guys who did it, it was written by Sugumi Oba and illustrated by Takeshi Obata, the same guys, the minds behind Death Note. Exactly. And so this work is much different than Death Note because Death Note like had a whole other tone going and everything. This one's so lighthearted, slice of life and happy. So big divergence from that.
It's wholesome. I'll say that. Yeah,
exactly. But I digress. Very, very briefly, it's a slice of life anime about the manga industry, and our main character Muritaka Mashiro, he has a passion for drawing, and so did his grandfather. Literally, his grandfather killed himself working for the industry because making ends meet, the demands of the industry as well. So it's very much looked down upon being like a manga artist and all that. He our main character is eventually approached and someone by his classmate who says, "Hey, do you want to make a manga together? You draw, I'll do the story writing and all that together." So it's a duo, and the plot is basically driven that our boy Mashiro, he basically tells the girl that he's so interested in. He's had eyes on her like who knows how long. And he says, "If I become a great manga artist, if I get my manga to become an anime, will you marry me?" This is after high school, of course. And she's like, "Yes." So we have clear drive. And this does happen. This anime literally dropped back in 2008, went until 2012, and it resolved with him getting an anime and getting the girl. So while I find that is very nicely done, it's all neat, there's nothing further to elaborate on. There are some characters that we do see, other manga artists in the industry, that I'm like, damn, I would have liked to see this person get their spin-off, a little more development here and that. And so the development that I would have liked to see, the character who should have gone spin-off, his name escapes me. I'm sorry, the name is escaping me, but literally he would yell crow. And Wise Man,
come on,
Wise
bro.
Man knows. No.
I know, but I'm surprised you remember his name. Like,
there's too
should we
many
just look it
characters.
up?
Hang on, let me look up all the characters right now.
Leifon,
I
we've
need-
been doing this for a while, and I'm surprised you still come unprepared each time in each
oh,
episode.
it's AG. AG.
Yeah, I was like
There it is.
EGA, something like that.
E.G. Nizuma.
Thank you. Now,
E.G. Nizuma.
what I like about AG is that from moment one we meet him, he is eccentric. He is focused. He's crazy, and he's literally ripping up the manga world because he's literally like doing everything so seamlessly. And to see him lose, I'm like,
He's chaotic. We'll say that.
Yep. So no one can. You can't really rely on the guy, and being like his manga editor, that's a whole other nightmare. Now, the reason I could potentially see a spin-off with him is because he does declare that, hey, I'm done with my manga series, the one that got me like where I am. I'm making other manga series. So I would like to see how that turned out, because he's diverging away from his main story. He's going to something else. He's actually lost the race against Mashiro. So I want to see how he deals with that type of, setback and everything.
So for his spin-off, would you want to see what happens kind of like after the events of Bakuman, our main story plot, or do you want to see like a prequel or how he got there? Like, what do you want to see more?
Well, you could probably do that both ways. Like he had mentioned, they had ran for 2 years specifically, and then after that 2-year period where they got the show, then they got that proposal. You could see those first 2 years where he, or a few, doesn't have to be exactly 2, but those years at the beginning where he gets himself to that point, and then continue now after realizing that even though he got to that finish line, he still technically lost. So now he has to deal with maybe starting a new project or something like that else to like really get himself back in like the groove of getting to where he needs to go.
Yep, that would be the focal point. I don't see much of a prequel. Don't see much like need for a prequel story on our boy AJ. If anything, I want to see the after events, because this is not something heavily talked about in the manga industry. Like mangas that had the chance to become animes and the person doesn't make the cutoff. What happens to them? Do they go into a drunken stupor and kill themselves? I hope not. Or what are they doing afterwards? That is where my interest will come into play, because this plays so well into the manga industry, like what goes on in the background, like multiple failure after failure, and then finally you get that one that just picks off really well.
This video is sponsored by NordVPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It's a tool that encrypts your internet traffic and hides your IP and virtual location. You might be asking yourself, why do I need this? Well, you like watching anime, right? Or shopping online? or browsing the internet using the public Wi-Fi. But are you aware of the digital snooper? It can be anyone, such as your internet provider peeking at your internet activities, or a cyber criminal attempting to steal your credit card info, or a hacker near you trying to steal your sensitive data. This is where NordVPN comes in. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite anime content securely and remotely. NordVPN also allows you to overcome internet censorship. All your traffic is routed through a remote server, so you can access websites that are restricted in your country. If you want to watch anime that is only available in Japan and not in your country, then use NordVPN to connect to Japan's server. It's that easy. NordVPN is available on most devices. You can also download NordVPN from the App Store. Use our link to download NordVPN. Get started today to protect yourself.
If I remember correctly, in that in his character arc, he was a big foe for our dual gang because his manga projects were always like top #1, and they were always
Pretty
getting the
much
most views and succeeding. So
Exactly. So I want to see
So,
what happens to the antagonist somewhat. Even though he wasn't like the type of antagonist who's like in your face, I'm
No,
better than
no.
you or anything. He wasn't that.
no, he was pretty
just a
neutral.
rival.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, he was just a rival and everything. So if you want to get a spin-off from him, then you could just see how he rivals against someone else. Or maybe you know what you could do? You could maybe even see him, put him in a different kind of like setting, different industry, and see how he handles that himself, how he conducts himself if he puts himself like in other projects. But
Yeah, working for McDonald's.
because I feel like the manga thing, it just came to him. He's like, yeah, I could do this, and then he's like, boom, done.
Well, there was a
Get the
character dedicated for
McDonald's
that.
paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's like left the industry, he's like working at McDonald's. He's like, damn, that's not the same.
What the hell? Oh my God!
He's drawing down,
He's
like, the
struggling on that
napkins.
stew up way freaking paycheck.
Exactly.
no.
So
my
I
God.
see opportunity there. And if
Cool.
not him, fine. If we
No,
forget,
no, stick to one character. Just stick to one character, man. We don't
Fine.
want to go on.
Okay,
tangent.
fine. If it's just on him, and I'd like to see his character development as well, because we see him as very eccentric. Like whenever he does anything, he's literally jumping around saying "Crow" and everything. He's just like drawing, and there's never a moment where he's like, what am I gonna do? He's just like go, go, go. There's no pumping the brakes with this guy. So to see him like stop somewhat and be like, damn.
To like reevaluate everything that's happening.
Yeah, like if he wants to continue doing it, that my boy can do it. I'm all for it. But I'd also like to see that his own personal progression as well.
You want to see him standing in the shower, staring down, trying to comprehend
Staring down,
what's
staring
the next
up.
step.
I don't know, man.
You want that go-to depressed shower scene.
Yeah, the depressed shower scene is the best, actually.
Very vivid. Vividly
you know,
used.
we all know what we're talking about.
Yeah, do whatever you
It's
want.
one of
man.
those.
All right, so Tensa, we saved the last for you, the best for last.
Yeah, I originally was going to use 2 characters because I was thinking of the series as a whole. But I'm going to stick to the more immediate focus of one of those characters, the ones more in a present time instead of a past character.
I'm scared.
The series is Freya at the Funeral.
Oh no.
No, not that one, no!
No.
Which? Okay.
Byron at the funeral.
That's actually the actual name of it in
God.
Japanese.
Okay, just do it.
Or Freya at Journey's End, if you'd like the English name. As mentioned, I was originally going to talk about Himmel, but I'm going to go with Stark this time, actually.
So who is he? Is he
Stark is basically the embodiment of a cowardly lion as a character. So he is the warrior of the group, the typical guy with an axe, scar on his face, wearing all red. But once you actually see him, he's kind of a bitch.
What? Jesus! That was brutal!
Yikes, okay. And why do you want to see a spin-off on him?
This is where it gets important. He does get to a few glow-ups both in the anime and the manga where he comes off. But after that specific glow up, he gets completely ignored as if he stopped existing.
What was the? I hate to interrupt you. I know the thing, but what was the the character's name? Because I just want to get a
Stark.
face to Shark.
Stark, but you
Stark.
pronounce the H because they're all German names.
Okay. Kind of sounds like
But think about how you pronounce Ned Stark in Game of Thrones. But once you pronounce it with the German pronunciation. So there's an CH before the T.
Oh, Stark.
Once you pronounce, Stark, but you pronounce Stark.
I didn't hear the T part, so I was getting confused. Okay. Yeah, this character, you've seen them come up every now and again.
Yes, and that's the thing. Now and again, even though that he's part of the main group, but the point is that he disappears. And yeah, because the series kind of ignore it because you're kind of in a magical world where magic is so prevalent, and this guy is, I got muscle.
So when he disappears, do you want to see like a spin-off of what's he doing, like what adventures is going on?
Something like that. And on top of that, with that spin-off, we could see further his issues of his cowardly lion tendency, because he is scared of a lot of things.
What if that's just a survival instinct?
Yes, at that point. And the thing is that we don't see him deal with it enough. And I would like him to not exactly resolve it, because it only makes sense to resolve it at the end of the main series.
Or not at all, just how he deals with it. Because obviously you can't really get rid of stuff about you. It's just how you go about really, incorporating it to your day-to-day and how you cope with it.
Yeah, and well, a coping mechanism would work. But technically, there is development to be made in which can resolve it. Not completely, but like in a healthy way.
Fern can resolve it.
But it does not need to be a cop out like, let's say, Zenitsu from Demon Slayer, where that one just never gets touched upon in the first place.
You know what? As you talk about this character, he brings sort of similarities to, I would imagine people know this character, Usopp from One Piece, where he has that.
Yes.
When you compare him to the rest of the world that he's in, obviously at a comparative to your average commoner, he is strong. But when you kind of like with Yamcha also in Dragon Ball Z, but in this case, he pairs well more with Usopp because of how much more.
Well,
I don't want to use the word, but
confident.
Cowardly.
Well, that's the thing. Usopp in One Piece started cowardly, but he actually grew, and he is a lot less cowardly. Like, he deals with it much better than he used to.
Yeah, so what it might be, you want to see that same kind of development with him, where it's less of a cowardly and more of a, okay, it's a bit more realistic. Yeah, my skills are good, but
obviously,
as you say,
caution is great.
Yeah.
Caution is really great.
Yeah.
Especially for someone with Stark, because even in the beginning of the Frieren series, even his teacher has hidden scary potential.
Yeah.
Like the hero of the ages of old. Well, the warrior of the ages of old, scared of the sky.
Yeah.
He punched him.
So,
and the point is that you bring, and the more that you bring that into the ring, into the front, the better that we would see his potential near the end.
Yeah. You want to what's that term used? What is it? Crouching moron or something like that?
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
Where someone like almost perceives like a sort of like comedic.
Crouching moron, hidden dragon.
Yeah. That where they perceive themselves to be far less dangerous, and obviously due to his cowardness, he can act in a very childish, even almost foolish sort of way.
Unconventional, unconventional, but when the times calls for the card, like when push comes to shove,
Yeah.
when
Do
he
they
acts,
do what they have
it is
to do?
decisive.
He steps up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I've always liked characters like that. I like characters who have a clear and decisive, I'm not going to say issue, but um, detriment to what they are, because everyone has those, and how they fix.
It's what made the character interesting in the first
Interesting.
place. Hence why I don't want, for example, Stark to just get rid of
Disappear.
that, because this is no longer Stark anymore. That's just Himmel.
Yeah, and this character has the potential of fixing themselves. Like, if I remember correctly, there was another character who was kind of similar in his state, but like they didn't do anything well with that character because the character was completely unaware of all of their shortcomings and that stuff. So there wasn't really any room for development, and he only just sat as a, you know, as a one-off, you know, just character who's totally there
I
for
think you're
comedic
talking
relief.
about. I think you're talking about the. You're talking about Sign the cleric.
Who?
The cleric.
No, I'm not even talking from that show. I'm talking about
Okay. I was
the
confused
kid,
too.
the kid that used to fall asleep in Demon Slayer.
Oh,
Oh,
Zaitsu.
that one. Yeah, he's
There's
annoying.
I mean, you're not wrong, but you didn't have to say it. I mean,
there was so much potential that they could have done. Like, obviously, the coward trope that can step up to the plate when push comes to shove is always appreciative because it shows growth, it shows development. But like when this character is literally unconscious and has no idea what they're even doing, it
Yeah,
loses any sort of significance.
I've already mentioned him by name. That's Zenitsu, by the way.
Yeah, so it's you want to, you don't want to see the Stark recede into that sort of just bare comedic role.
That's what I said earlier.
Yeah,
I want him to grow so that that he doesn't end up like Zenitsu, because Zenitsu has this weird coping mechanism, but it's really more of an alter-mandated coping mechanism just to avoid his growth.
just to avoid writing him.
Now that's just mean.
Yes.
No,
All right.
they just want to keep
So-
him
He's
as a
only
comedic
good
character.
when he's speaking. It's like, might as well remove the character.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah. There's no room for growth because the character doesn't know what their faults are. So obviously they will never fix it.
It's more of, he knows. Actually, he knows what his faults are, but he's never brought into a situation where he's forced to face it.
Yeah.
He knows the problem, but
All right, guys. I'm gonna
each
interject
time
here.
he's forced, he's
I'm
gone.
gonna interject here. So I think we're kind of going a bit tangent off because now we're talking about more about Zenitsu. I just want to focus on the the characters you guys selected. So I like yeah, go on, Tensa. You want to finish your last thought?
Yeah. So being said, Stark has the opportunity to not only grow as a strong warrior, he has the exact potential to be the hero in his current era, but this is what takes time and development, hence why I think that of a side series with him to say, oh, this is what he does while the main party does magic things, and this is what he does to condition himself to be better, to be of better help to the main party, makes sense.
Okay, duly noted. So yeah, I like the picks you guys did, and it sounds very good. So I'm gonna ask you guys, for the other panelists that selected their characters, we've already kind of gone into it, but do you agree that they should get their own spin-off series, or disagree? What are your thoughts?
Well, me personally, I can't really comment on Leigh Fons because unfortunately I never watched the show. I can only really go off of his explanation. But
Yeah.
his idea of being able to see another character having to cope with the success of the main character, like, and be sort of quote unquote the loser, so to speak, the second placer, is a very interesting concept. Which I totally said. Now when they have to, keep moving forward, knowing that, they're not number one is very intriguing. And then to take on Tensa's character. The notion of having a strong character who's unfortunately completely outclassed by the realm of all the other main characters, and seeing his development in a more down to earth kind of way allows you to connect way more with that character, and it feels more significant. So I think both are extremely good, just concepts on their own.
Okay, cool. Tensa, Leifan, your thoughts on everybody else's picks too? Do you agree that they should get their own spin-off series, or?
I would second what Prez just said. Well, about Tensa's character, because having seen the Free Reign show as well, I completely get where Tensa is coming from, like in regard to the character. And of course I'd like to see a spin-off series of just Stark and him on his own adventures or something, not part of the main party, if that's possible at all, and seeing that natural progression of him, like, overcoming any personal limitations that he might potentially have. So yeah, of course. And Prez's pick of Ainz from Overlord. Honestly, Prez, I'm with you on seeing of maybe giving a different angle or on Ainz in the spin-off series that's already ongoing, because having watched season 1 and 2 just like you, they kept coming out so like not like, one after the other, so to say. It's been a lot of gap years, so whenever I watch it, I hardly remember what happened last time. But it's always that feeling that, oh, this character's going to die. Oh, they think they're the big shit. Oh, look at that. Ainz just grabbed them by the balls.
What?
I don't know. It's always something different, but it just feels, I don't know. Like, I understand what the creator was going for. I do get it, but I just can't go with it. Even though it's very different, I just couldn't. And the fact that you're telling me that there is a spin-off series going on, and if Ainz could get a little more exposure in it, I would happily watch, because I would be for it.
Isn't he the principal in Isekai Quartet in the first place?
No, he's just one of the students.
Oh,
okay, that's funny.
I think I'm not sure. I thought I remember who the principal is, but I'm not. I'm pretty sure.
It's fine. Don't worry about that. I thought it was him, but if it's not him, it's fine. We'll get that for another panel.
No. Who is this? Okay, I didn't even know this was the character. No, Kurt von Rudersdorf or whatever, some German name from an anime I didn't watch.
It's fine. I will not worry about that immediately.
Where's this?
So,
I've never heard of it.
For my take on Leifon's choice, while I understand where he's coming from, I also have a hard feeling that he has an accelerator fetish.
What? What the fuck?
Okay.
I wonder where you get that idea.
This is just straight up scientific railgun all over again.
I know.
With Accelerator with his own spin-off series after he lost.
No. That was trash, man. That was horrendous.
However, given the context of Bakuman, which is about the manga industry, it only makes sense to have a spin-off of what happens to someone that fell down. And is he going to try to get up? Or is it going to be a series where he's coping with his loss and he deals with it in a different way? Maybe, as Press said, another project, something that will keep make him move forward regardless. Or, of course, if we want to go with the extreme direction, he could just hang himself.
I was not expecting that.
As people
shit.
doing
Okay, let's just
go down the door.
happens.
Let's just stop with the depressed shower scene.
Yes, it's because, remember, Japan and high suicide rates, they go well together.
No, it is reflective of true life, let's be honest. Even though it's like a
And
anime, there are some dark corners.
But the point is, I can see like the kind of a struggle of after and how he deals with it. It could even be a time skip where he goes like 10 years, 5 years later, and then something hits him, and so that he can avoid being Kafka from Kaiju number 8.
Wow. You know, so bring out her
Kaiju
anime
number
interest.
8. There's some lore I'm missing here.
We're talking about, just to sum it up short, is basically a 33-year-old janitor that became a hero, but don't worry about that.
Okay.
And however, for the Einstein, this is where I will start to disagree a bit. While
fine.
I do like the idea that Ein's having another series would be great, where he can be more than what he is, because of how he's usually portrayed.
Yeah.
I can only see him as a cameo or as an actual boss to beat, where he would be the side series, but actually as an actual villain.
Yeah.
So,
Totally
for
fine,
example,
so.
like flip the script that you actually see the heroes, and then you see Ainz every now and then, like then Skeletor skit.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I get, okay, I respect if he made Skeletor jokes just for fun, but yeah, I guess for me, I went more or less of just the change of the character, but also how I personally felt they could have structured the show a bit better.
Yes,
which it was a bit off topic. I would have liked a more, if he had a time skip. It's like I don't know what they're taking it, but I assume his goal is to more or less take over like the entire world he's in, and I assume they're doing those steps. I would like to have seen maybe he does it, and then they come.
Someone in the next generation actually tries to take him down.
Yeah, like he's an evil lord, but you still see him as the main character, but you also have a new group of main characters. I would have liked a 50-50 sort of equilibrium where you see both sides.
And
it would have been far more interesting.
And it sounds like a group project, right?
What do you mean by that?
Oh no!
So the end of, let's say, the season or the finale of the series, you see which development actually pays out the most at the end, kind of like a science fair project.
Yeah. At one point, like who did more to the other, and how is the other gonna get back, so to speak, with how much it is. Like I would like to see the development, because obviously a war, between the forces of good and evil, there's always two sides. Even in modern war, there's always two sides. So it's more interesting to see both sides, because it really paints a picture. You really see how it is. Tragedy is fine, but when there's tragedy, but there's nothing else, then it's just tragedy, and there's it pointless tragedy. That's horror at that point.
That's what we call darkness-induced apathy, where the series is too dark and you kind of don't care about anything.
Yeah, because there's nothing
like a comic got killed, for example.
Yeah.
Bro. Too soon.
Yeah. But other than that, the idea is that at least by having the 50-50 equilibrium for Ainz and Overlord, well, two people actually start losing stuff, which actually raises it's no longer just darkness induced, it actually raises the stakes.
Yeah, and there's a legitimate there's a legitimate
a legitimate risk. And an actual challenge too. So of course you're not gonna make it look like Gundam, for example, because that's kind of the premise of Gundam, by the way. But
I'll be honest, I never watched Gundam, so I don't know.
Take a note of this. Dishonor on you.
Gundam is basically just wars with mechas. That's all
that I know.
No, I think he knows what Gundam is, but he never watched.
I never watched. Okay, that's not true.
The point is that the losses are on both sides.
Yeah,
because war is messy, and the point is to portray how messy war is.
Yeah.
Well, that's the entire premise on Gundam, but the problem is that they made look at those two machines, but don't worry about that. But the idea of the fantasy things with Ainz and group, we can see more cool things and less of a lot I have a holy sword good against a demon. Yeah, what's good at water gun versus a wildfire?
Yeah.
And no, it would, and maybe that you can make it more a little bit like Grimgar, where the heroes are still underdogs, but they're smart enough to do very guerrilla like tactics that
Yeah.
maybe that raw power just doesn't overcome.
Yeah. But
And
obviously,
keep the raw power for the bad guys because that's their thing.
yeah, and raw power and alone, it's like Dex versus strength. You get that one good hit and it's devastating. So it could be
and
cited.
and 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 maybe you don't need to just like, let's say, end the war with I'm dead, for example. You could just cripple him and force him to retreat, and then he's like, okay, next round, and there's a revenge.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many ways they could have taken it. I just feel like if they took the time to not only write his character to be more, I don't know, interesting, and along with
Interesting,
other side
humane,
characters,
relatable.
it would have been
And it just
interesting
would do.
because if they acknowledged him, what I would have really liked if they acknowledged him as the main villain, which they obviously kind of did, but they never really said it. But then they also had him deal with the fact that he was the villain. That would have been more interesting. The existentialism that he is awful. But
I think that's the point. I think the point is that they were also trying to have the main character ignore the fact that he's evil, because
yeah,
they
like we
actually have gone around the fact, like they've gone around the fact that he does evil things,
yeah.
but they've never flat out
Declare
stated that.
Yeah, well, no,
It's
they
like they
did.
never
They
admitted that he's evil. They never
Yeah, well,
admitted.
they stayed. Oh, I don't really feel any sort of emotion to anything, which honestly, just like I said, it felt a lot of disconnect. Like I don't mind having a
Well,
bad character.
the problem is that he was robotic, and he was precisely robotic for that reason.
Yeah.
And that's why for him it was okay to do XYZ.
Yeah.
For any other character that would pilot such a thing, maybe they would have a little bit of existential crisis. Maybe they would start asking themselves questions, contemplate,
Yeah.
things like that.
Okay, guys, I think we're coming close to the end of the episode. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Nope.
I clearly need to watch way more anime because I don't watch enough to really say that I'm up to date with all the stuff. So maybe I'll do some more so that I can expand my horizons a bit more. If we get into romance comedies, though, I'll be your guy for that.
Oh,
I mean,
say less.
I mean, Prez, we'll still for sure we'd be happy to have you again for
Absolutely
future
say less.
episodes. I hope
Absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed our discussion here. So
It was
yeah.
fun. It was definitely an enjoyable time to just banter for the sakes of banter. It was
pretty
fun.
much. Yeah. Leifon, Tensa, final words to get in?
Nada. I got nothing.
No, I'm satisfied.
All right, cool. Thanks so much. Thank you so much, guys. It was a great discussion, talk, debate, and was fun. So, guys, we've reached the end of the episode. This is episode 50, which anime characters should get their own spin-off series. So, thank you so much for tuning in. So, quick note: you can follow us on all like social media platforms. So, we're on Instagram at TheOfficialOtakuCrew, Facebook too, TheOfficialOtakuCrew. What else is there? Am I forgetting Leifon? We're also on TikTok, right?
Yep. Yeah, I think you.
We are on TikTok. Yes.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
All that good stuff.
And exactly. So check out our previous episodes. All the links in the description will be on the YouTube. And thanks so much for tuning in. This is your host Wiseman Lee signing off. See you guys next time. Thank you.
Peace.